Can you hear this? Hold on. Can you hear this? Can you hear that?
Oh.
Hear that? Could you hear that?
Hi, everybody.
Did you hear that?
Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. Sorry, I was enjoying a nice, fresh, cold Queensland's Late Lemon Lager over here. Of course, you know what time it is. This is the Geek Boutique podcast, and you know it. We're the Geeks and Company. My name's JS, of course. Our buddy Akka over here.
We're not late. What, Christina? Are you high?
Who's saying late? I just saw.
Oh, you're late. No surprise there. No, we're not. No,
late.
Smack on time.
As you can see, our good buddy. You gonna say no? Rob the bad guy? Rob the builder?
Rob is not. He's
not here again this weekend. He is going to be back next week.
He will. Yep. Hello, Geek Boys. Tammy, hi all. Tammy, once again, thank you, you and your family, Bob in particular, for the gifts that you guys brought for the raffle.
We're gonna talk about the raffles.
Crazy town of everything we had on the raffle table, guys, and we'll be talking a lot about obviously the event that we just had, the May the 3rd, May the 4th, and May the 3rd. Of everything that we had on that raffle table, to me, when we were doing the ticket draws, 4 prizes had sort of the most tickets, and the 2 gift baskets were amongst those 4, 100%. So thank you to you, Tammy, to Bob, to the whole family for such a generous donation. It all went to a good cause. We're going to talk today about how the raffle went, what type of funds we raised, and how the event was for everybody involved. But yeah.
Sorry, what event are you talking about there?
Well, as I've already mentioned several times, it was it was this event. It was our 3rd annual, if you can see it on here, the 3rd annual celebration of all things Star Wars and the collaboration between the Geeks and Company and
London Brewery
Co-op, because I got all my merch going on now. So, yeah, we had a hell of a time. It was a hell of a turnout. We're going to get to all that when we get into the community news. Michael Icon, hello, good to see you. Actually, Ben Pritchard, I don't think we've seen Ben in a while. Good to see you, Ben. Seeing Ben. I'll probably be seeing Ben at the end of the month because I think the only time I ever really see Ben is at Niagara Falls Comic Con. So I'll be seeing him there, I'm sure. That's coming up at the end of this month, which we'll also talk about.
There's Bob there.
Hey,
Bob.
Good evening, geeks. Great time. Thanks, Bob. It was great to have you out. Halloween Queen 1988. I believe that is Miss Shauna, and let me tell you, she was feeling no pain at that event.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of people that were having a good time, bud, because what a party.
Yes, they're in Fan Expo. Excellent. Very, very good. Keith L. Hey, geeks. Thank you very much. Can Geek and Games. Howdy. How you guys doing? Good to see everyone joining us again this week for another edition of, yes, unfortunately, a Robless Geek Boutique podcast.
Robless.
We're hoping to have Rob the Builder back next week. Understandably, because Rob wasn't able to make it out for Star Wars Day, he was looking to take this week off in particular, so we could talk about that event. Mostly next week, back to the regular format, and Rob will hopefully be back with us.
We have a guest next week, don't we?
We do have a guest next week. Speaking of someone that was feeling no pain, hey, Danny. Danielle was also feeling no pain.
Yeah.
You guys, let me tell you, I should have put you guys. We should have got some video or just slap pictures of you guys for the ad for next year's event. I'm like, this is how good you're going to feel.
This is how we do it.
You will not be feeling any pain. I promise you. At least not that night anyway. I don't know how you guys were the next day, but yes, you guys were a credit to. Want to get your party, but family issues. I'll plan action. No problem, Ben. It was great. Hey, Toxic Fox, one of our vendors, which we're going to have a big shout out to, that helped make the raffle the success that it was. We'll talk about that as well because, man alive, this year, let me tell you, we were worried going in. Those worries have been assuaged.
Yeah, and we, you know what? Maybe we keep that for when we get into it.
We will.
You're right. I was.
We were a little scared, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about that. But other than that, JS, you kind of have some. I don't know if you want to share this on the pod, but you kind of have some personal news.
Well, no, let's not.
You don't want to share that
yet. Let's not spill the beans just yet. Let's wait till it's all official and
officially done. Fair enough. There's Marcy. Hello, all. Wayne saying, I hope the Force was with everyone last weekend. Absolutely, yes. The Force was out in force.
Oh yes.
Woof. That was terrible.
Oh yes.
What an awful segue. Other than that, though, sir, how you doing? How's your week been so far? Are you fully recovered from last weekend shenanigans?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm recovered. I'm still riding that hype though. If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
What a great time, dude! It's. Dude, we've got some fun events that we go to.
We do,
and this is one that we organize ourselves. Yeah. London Brewing Co-op is obviously a big part of that. Right?
And I do want to take some time this week to really kind of, it may be a little bit of inside baseball, and I'm not going to like pull the curtain completely back on the wizard behind the curtain, but I do want to go over, I think some people have maybe a few misconceptions, or they're not terribly sure what the relationship is between the Geeks and Company and London Brewing Co-op and how it kind of all breaks down to make that event a reality. So I am going to pull the curtain a little bit and
talk about it for sure.
Yeah, give some inside baseball just to clear up some things for people that maybe are struggling with understanding how the relationship between the two entities work and who benefits and how and everything else. So we're going to tackle some of that today when we talk about it too. Andrew Saxon, howdy all. Andrew had
what's up, Andrew?
What I'm now learning, I think, based on his post, was his first chance to exhibit his art.
Yeah.
In such a fashion.
Yeah.
A chance to get into the vendor alley. He was right down towards the end, right near the lightsaber vendors and such, and he had some product as well, some Minecraft stuff, but he had some art up as well. He donated a lovely piece to the raffle table too, so I'm glad you got a chance to come out and show it off, Andrew. That was awesome.
Well, I had a conversation specifically about that with Andrew
Nice.
while we were there, so we'll get into that again when we're
cheers
when we talk about it more. But yeah, we got to throw our own event, and it was a banger of an event. We had a ton of fun, and for us, it's we get out of town to go to London twice a year for this event and for London Comic Con. Right, it's the only two times we get to go in your neck of the woods. So
fair.
It's always a good time, and we were hoping to be there for longer than this last weekend, and unfortunately we had to come up that morning. But again, it is what it is.
That's my line. That's my line. Hello there.
Hello there. So yeah, but it was a good time, and I'm recovered. I'm still on the hype train. I still want to. I'm not going to tell anybody what I've been doing this week because you guys are going to laugh at me if I tell you.
We're already deep in planning for next year's event.
Yeah, you don't have no idea how
days away.
I've gone into it.
We're very you know what? Do you want to just do you want to do the community? Do you want to talk about it now and then we'll do the news after? Do you want to do it that way, or do you want to try to get the news?
No, let's just shut up. Let's just cut it here because if we don't cut it here, we're not going to stop. Let's just do the news.
It's the news.
Not done the news at all. I mean, but
yeah, it's fine. Brought to you by the Geeks and Company. The Geeks and Company, bringing you delicious beer once a year. Cheers.
This still. Yeah.
What have we got for news this week? GameStop is selling their Canadian operations to a French-Canadian entrepreneur, McFarlane Toys owner, Stéphane Tetreault. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Relaunching as EB Games, hilariously, because that's, of course, what it was called before it got moved
they bought it.
GameStop, which, does anybody remember what the EB stands for?
Electronic Boutique.
The Electronic Boutique is what it was originally called way back in the day. A good friend of mine who was the vendor that had all of the prints up in the back. Yeah. When Jason. He first started Jason, when he first started his business, when we were selling computer software together, he called his business Multimedia Emporium, a play on Electronics Boutique. So I don't know if he still has the name Multimedia Emporium or not, but that's taken us way back. I'm going to skip over that one for now. Clayface. So this is kind of weird. So Mike Flanagan, a scriptwriter who's written the scripts for Dr. Sleep and a bunch of really cool, deep movies, wrote a screenplay for a Clayface movie that would be a tightly budgeted, sort of like origin story, bit horror-ish film. And it was so good that when James Gunn saw it, he's like, yes, we're greenlighting this. This wasn't on the original slate, but we're going to do this and we're going to start shooting it next year. And now it's getting a page one rewrite by the guy that wrote Drive. So I don't know why the script originally was good enough. Now, Mike Flanagan has moved on to a separate project. So because he won't be the lead writer on this project, I guess that's why they're looking to bring a new writer in. But a page one rewrite means they're literally redoing the entire script.
Redoing the whole thing.
I don't, it doesn't make any sense. Can a $40 million tightly budgeted horror-esque Clayface movie, like a tragedy style movie, kind of like in the vein of Batman the Animated Series, his origin there, could that work? Yes, I think it could. I think it'd be dope if it goes that way. I just don't get why they need a complete and utter overhaul of the entire script, especially since it's something they're just kind of jamming in. You know what I mean?
Well, who's to say that that's what we're getting if it's a complete page one rewrite?
Well, that's
not be that style of a concept at all anymore because it's completely different now.
Yes. In news, there's a new pope now. Yes, Megan, that is that part of the stories that I've got written down as well. Yes, we do in fact have a new pope, and he is American. This always reminds me of the line from Watchmen for all my Watchmen geeks out there. There is a Superman, and he's American. Yeah, so there is a new pope, and he's from Chicago. I don't know if he's got the Chicago accent or not. It'd be funny as fuck if he does, but yes, there is a new pope, and it's the first American pope, and he's from Chicago. So Preston, I don't remember I don't know what his real name is. They give him a pope name, but
Prévost.
Prévost.
Yeah,
Prevost.
Prevost is how they said it, but it's a French name. Funny enough, he's American from Chicago with a French name. And like a Chilean citizenship or something like that.
Yeah. So again, they'll give him a pope name. I don't know what the
Leo
rotation is. That what it
Leo
is?
The 14th.
Cleo.
Leo.
Oh, Leo.
Leonardo the 14th.
Like lion, like rare.
Yes.
Like that's
like blue bandana. Leo.
What is blue bandana?
Leonardo.
Oh, you're weird. If you're like me, and
when they announced him, they literally announced him as Leonardo.
Dude, I don't know. I just saw that there was a new pope. I didn't see, and that he was from Chicago. When I saw a picture, I didn't know that they had already given him.
When you logged in, that's what I was watching. I was watching them announcing him as the new pope.
Yeah. We've already known. So there are 2 new Lord of the Rings movies coming from Peter Jackson. The first is being The Hunt for Gollum, which is set for December 2027, and I believe that's being directed by Andy Serkis.
It is,
of course, portrayed in performance capture and voiced the original Gollum in the original trilogy.
Apparently, still voicing him.
If you don't, well, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah. Sure. Whether he's the guy that does the motion capture, I don't know. Does he even do that anymore? Like,
I don't know.
No.
Question. I don't know what the last thing he would have done that would have been performance capture. Or capture, as our friend Alan Henry would call it, performance.
Yeah. I believe he was in one of the. He was Caesar. In 8 movies.
Right, but I don't know if he was in the most recently.
I don't,
because that doesn't. Caesar's not in that. It takes place like a couple of generations after, so I don't know if he.
Let's go to the truth machine. If only there was a way to know.
You do that. Regardless, we are getting new Lord of the Rings movies from Peter Jackson, which, on the one hand, seems like exciting news because we all remember how great the original trilogy was, the Lord of the Rings movies, and on the other hand, is it going to hold up the way the Hobbit movies did not? So I don't know. Not that the Hobbit movies were objectively bad. They weren't. But comparatively to the original trilogy, I mean, can anything really compare to the original trilogy as far as that goes? So I'm curious, and I want to be excited, and I want to, because I am a huge LOTR nerd, more of the movies than the lore and such. But I want it to be good. I want The Hunt for Gollum to be good enough to get another. And by the way, you guys all know how I feel about prequels. I'm not a fan, and this is a prequel, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know. What does the Truth Machine say, sir?
He was actually in Venom: The Last Dance.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
in it.
Well, no, he played. It looks like one of the symbiotes.
Huh. Probably Caesar. You're going to get more use out of my Gandalf. Absolutely. Yes, Ian McKellen has been very clear on this, by the way. He is unwilling to give up the staff and hat and beard.
Yeah, no, he's coming back. Yeah, he already said it.
He's like, I'm dead, you can find a new Gandalf. Until then, I'm motherfucking Gandalf. And I'm like, you go, Ian. I agree,
100%. I can't imagine it having the appeal of the original trilogy, and not because I don't think they can craft a great story, but let's be honest, the Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy Lord of the Rings book, and even to an extent the Hobbit books, were so damn popular. I mean, it probably one of the most popular book series of all times, if you ask me. So it was hard to fuck that up when you've got that kind of a fan base built in. If you do it any kind of justice, it's gonna make bank. So is the Hunt for Gollum gonna have that same effect? Is it gonna have that same impact? Are we still gonna care as much? No, we can't. I don't think so. Especially now when it's like the seventh live action movie, and there's been three animated in between, right? Like there's been so much. Oh, and a TV show with two seasons, right? So,
And
oh
a
no,
third
it's not a TV. What? Sorry,
and a third season on the way, but
and the
not
third
with
season
the
on the
same
way,
continuity. I mean, yes, but no, but yes. We've talked about that. It's not
right?
technically. It's based in the same
I
literature
know.
and lore. It's not technically in the same universe, but yeah.
It's not, but still, right?
Is there
So
a theme, Kira? Is there a theme today? Is everybody stealing my line? Hello there,
hello there.
General Kenobi.
So I don't know, man. I'm gonna be interested in seeing it because if there was one interesting character in those movies, it was Gollum. To me, he was a big part of the success of those original three anyway. So you never know. I mean, it could be very good. It could be great.
Mhm.
I've never even seen the Hobbits because I've never really been interested enough to go back and watch the Hobbit movies.
Right.
Although I'm told I'm an idiot to not watch them, but
Um, I mean, I think they're films that have gained a bit of an appreciation as time has passed. But
mhm.
at the time, I remember going into the first Hobbit film with a buddy of mine, and halfway through the film, we looked at each other and we nearly walked out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just again, coming off of what is arguably the greatest film trilogy of all time, those are some awfully big shoes to fill, and especially that first film just doesn't fill them. So, I've since rewatched it, and I'm like, okay, this isn't anywhere near as bad as I was making it to be that first time I watched it. But the first time I watched it, the expectations were so high, and it physically couldn't meet them, and it does, and it didn't, and it doesn't. But that doesn't objectively make it a bad movie or even a bad trilogy. The problem is they took a book that's like 100 pages and they stretched it out to 3 films. It didn't.
Yeah.
2 films would have been already a stretch, but 3 films is ludicrous. So
Which I feel like that was the original idea, right? Like the original idea was to make this a 2-film story, and then they stretched that into 3.
I think it was literally like 1, 2, 3. Like initially it was a film, and then it was going to be 2, and then it became 3, and it was just too much. Phil, and maybe a little bit too much of a reliance on CG in that as well. That they did a lot of what they did practically in the first trilogy as CG in the second trilogy,
right?
The villains and such, and it just doesn't feel akin to, and it certainly doesn't feel like a prequel to the first 3 films. But again, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be good. And I'm talking about CG as though Gollum didn't exist in those films. Of course he did, and he was a revolutionary CG character at the time as far as performance capture goes. But a lot of the other things they did in the film, they tried to rely as much as they could on practical effects. And it feels like in the Hobbit trilogy, they didn't. They just kind of gave up on that. They just CG'd everything. And I feel like the films were worse for it. But I mean,
and let's be honest, like even the original trilogy, in terms of special effects and CG, like it was, I don't want to say revolutionary, but I mean, they literally created software to be able to do the effects in that movie, right? When they're building the army of orcs attacking Helm's Deep, I mean, there's not an army of orcs there. There's maybe 100 stand-ins, right? And
brand new programs.
Yeah, they created software.
Helm's Deep specifically to make it look like random tens of thousands of orcs doing random things.
So they were on the cutting edge as well, but they found a way to integrate it with the practical that just made it so fantastic.
And yes, and again, like I've said, your mileage may vary, opinions vary. Andrew saying the original LOTR movies, their core focus is pushed as honor the base material, but the Hobbit movies are more concerned with the look of the LOTR movies, but butcher the base material. But then Saphira is saying, I did like the fact they pulled from the unfinished tales a bit. So yeah, I mean, it's not like there was nothing there in the Hobbit films. And like I said, if you go back and watch them now, you may go into them with fresh eyes and be like, oh, these weren't so bad. But at the time, woof, that was rough. Anyway, guys, we should be moving on. We've got some stuff to get through here for sure. Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again is already half in the can, and apparently, quote unquote, the best rating we've ever had, as per Charlie Cox. Again, I mean, we've talked about this ad infinitum on the channel a million times, but nobody that's involved in a project doesn't go out and say it's shit or it's not as good or it's terrible. Like that's like they're meant
to paid literally to
to hype the thing up. So I have not gonna lie, I've not checked out the first season of Daredevil Born Again. I have no desire to check out the first season of Daredevil Born Again. It seems like people are enjoying it, but I have heard and read quite a few reviews indicating that while it's good, it's still not as good as that first season on Netflix. Although it is at least better than some of the other stuff that have been pumped out by the MCU via the Disney Plus service. So I don't know. I don't have a foot in this world, even though I watched all 3 seasons from Netflix. None of it really. I mean, I enjoyed the first season, but none of it really hit me really hard to the point where I can't wait to watch more of these characters, to see more of these characters.
Right.
So I haven't checked it out. So if you're enjoying the first season of Daredevil Born Again, fantastic. If you're looking forward to season 2, it is happening. I think it was greenlit before they even. I think the plan was always to do at least 2 seasons. I feel like the season 2 was already going before season 1 was even release type thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it was, because it was originally supposed to be like a 19 or 18 episode, 19 episode show. They wanted to go back to a little bit more of the long format TV show where they would run for most of the year. Obviously, with the bean counters were like, no, that's not how we do things anymore. So they literally split it into 2 and filmed it back to back as 2 seasons, right?
I don't have it here on the list, but this has come out recently, and I want to talk about this, talking about MCU shows. So Jeremy Renner was just on a podcast and was asked about season 2 of Hawkeye, which would have been filming after his horrific accident where he got run over by his own snowplow or snowblower or whatever. And Disney. So, by the way, I'm going to be a little bit cynical about this. Just bear with me, though. Apparently, he was asked to do season 2, which he said would have taken 8 months of his life, would have been hard on his body, and they only offered him half the money. Yeah. I don't know from a scripting show viewpoint, like if that second season would have been very much a passing of the torch to Kate Bishop to the point where he wouldn't have had as big a role, and that's why maybe his pay would have been scaled back. But it's interesting him talk. He's looking right at the camera while he's talking because he's on a podcast, and maybe he didn't fully anticipate, because originally he's like, well, Disney was just being skinflints. But he's like, well, it wasn't really Disney, it was Marvel. Well, it wasn't really Marvel, it was the accountants, it was the bean. Like, you can see him backpedaling when he's realized he's shit talking his payday. Like, I'm like, he's like, whoa, I don't want to get black. I still like that check. Please, Disney, keep sending me checks. I still want checks for my work. But so apparently we are not getting a second season of Hawkeye, largely because they're not going to pay him the same rate they paid him for the first season. So
he literally said, what, am I half the Hawkeye?
Jeremy Renner.
Am I half the Jeremy Renner since the accident? Is that why you're paying me half? You're offering me half?
Yeah, again, I don't know what the scripting looked like. I don't know how much of a commitment it would have been for him. I don't know if they're going to pay him in such a way that, like I said, he wasn't going to be front and center. It was going to be more a story for Kate Bishop, and he was going to be more in a mentor role. I don't know. Like, who knows for any of that, right? It's clear that they're moving on with the MCU, and they're starting to retire the older actors and such, especially as we get post Secret Wars and such, right? And we're going to talk about an impact that a recent film has had to lead us to that assumption. Excuse me. But having said that, it was watching him backpedal when he started to shit talk the money, and then he realized as he was shit talking the money that he was shit talking the money, and he very quickly was like, no, that's not what I meant. I don't mean Disney. I don't mean Marvel. I mean the accountants who work for Disney and Marvel. But anyways, regardless, it's fine. So yeah, speaking of, one last thing I want to talk about is the long and winding road.
Well, you skipped a few.
The Batman. I know. The Batman Part 2 still hasn't even begun filming yet. According to, I think it's James Gunn, we still don't even have a finished script yet. Now there's rumors going around that Matt Reeves is experiencing some type of either a health issue or a family issue or something. So he may in fact be stepping aside as the director, while he would still be the lead scriptwriter. None of this has been confirmed. The only thing that has been confirmed is that it still has not begun filming yet. And we don't have a firm date as to when this is going to start. This is 5 years on, kids. And we still don't have a filming start date yet. And from that filming start date, you can expect at least 1.5 to 2 years time before the film would even get released, by the time all the principal's done, all the post work is done, and everything else. So for those of you, just like me, eagerly awaiting the final in the trilogy of the Spider-Verse trilogy, if you've been eagerly awaiting the Batman Part 2, keep waiting, kids, because there seems to be no end in sight. Because now Robert Pattinson is being courted to be part of Dune Messiah, the third Dune movie that's supposed to start filming soon. And that's going to set back the Batman Part 2. So, I mean, there's so many different aspects to this that seem to just keep blocking it. And I don't know when we get to a point where we're just be like, it's not going to happen. Like the Batman is just going to be a standalone film. And that part of the universe, which is already its own little pocket universe anyway, is just done. It'll just have to stand as a one and done.
I think that I think we have to start giving into that thought, because even the whole premise of the Batman was that this was going to be a year 2 Batman, right? A young Batman who's just becoming, and I mean, now by the time the movie comes out, it'll be 10 years later, right? So what is it going to? So are we now doing a like year 12 Batman, where like now all the supervillains are there and they've all been discovered, and he's all fought them and put them in Arkham, and now he, like, are we already going down? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I do. No, I agree with you.
I find it weird. I'm not gonna lie, and I understand that there was that whole change of the guard at DC when all this went down, but like, you know, the movie made bank, right? Like, it made good money. Like, you knew if you were starting this new Batman that was going to be your direction for Batman for the next 10 years. And then you don't make another movie for 10 years?
It's wild.
It's so weird.
I don't know how they weren't already working on the second one before the first one came out. Like,
I don't understand.
Like, why sit on it for a couple of years and be like, oh, maybe we should make another one of these?
Yeah, I don't.
And try to go through all the trials and tribulations of trying to get the second one made and funded and scripted and actors locked down and blah, blah, blah. Like, you just waited too.
It's not happening at this point, man.
I don't think
it does. It's going to be completely another. Yeah, it's going to be a completely new thing.
No, I agree. And that sucks because I really enjoyed it. I know it's divisive. I know it has its detractors, but I really enjoyed it. If you were like me and you grew up, if you're in my age range anyway, and you grew up reading Stephen King, which I did voraciously, Stephen King got to the point where he knew that anything he put out would pretty much just get bought up because it has his name on it. So he adopted a pseudonym called Richard Bachman, and he released 4 books. Which all ended up getting collected after it was revealed that he was Richard Bachman. One of those books was a novella called The Long Walk, and they're finally turning this into a film. If you need some context, so The Running Man, the original book that the movie was based on, which, by the way, the movie looks nothing like the book, was written with that same pseudonym, Richard Bachman. So the Bachman books were a lot less on the supernatural side and more on sort of like the dystopian side, and The Long Walk is that. If you have a chance, check out the trailer. Essentially a group of teen boys start walking in a group. They have to maintain a speed of 3 miles an hour as they're walking. If you drop below that, you get a warning. If you get 3 warnings, you get shot, and the last kid walking gets whatever he wants in the entire world for the rest of his life. That's the premise of the film. So, and then you watch these kids as they're walking, the premise of the book, and now it looks like the premise of the film. You watch these kids walking and the camaraderie that they build, but still knowing that they're going to keep just watching each other die as things happen along the road that, you know, anyways, if you have a chance, check out the trailer. If you're a King fan like I am, it looks like they're doing a relatively good job of adapting the book into a workable movie. This is one of those ones where it sat around Hollywood for years because it was considered unfilmable. It looks like they finally found a way to crack it. Mark Hamill, by the way, is in it as well. He's like one of the big bad. I don't know if he's necessarily a bad guy. He's administering the walk type of things.
Right. Oh, that's him. Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you watch the trailer, the voiceover in the trailer is That's Mark Hamill talking. So
right. Well, I recognize the voice, but I didn't know who he was in the trailer. I couldn't. It looks. Listen, the trailer looks dope. I've never read the book, but I mean, I know of the book and.
It's great. I would recommend reading all the Bachman books, to be quite frank. But
fantastic.
The Long Walk, and The Running Man in particular are of the Bachman books the 2 best of those books.
I think it was in The Running Man. You know how when you go to the back of the book, or if you open the book, there's a picture of the author, right? Do you remember the picture?
Yes, because
it wasn't Stephen King.
No, it was somebody else. I don't remember who it was, by the way.
Some other dude.
That's correct.
Yeah, it looked nothing like him.
No, his intention initially was not to reveal that he was Richard Bachman, and some fan figured it out based on like the published, like some fan did some real like Detective Pikachu shit and figured out that Bachman was King. It wasn't like someone was, reading it and was like, oh yes, this seems like Stephen King's writing. It must be him. No. Someone did a deep dive. Megan lending us a little bit of a news piece here that both her and Richard are very excited about. Extra news. They just finished filming season 2 for Fallout.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. I I enjoyed the first season. I don't really fully buy into all the hype, but
yeah,
I enjoyed it enough. Did I enjoy it enough to watch the second season?
yeah.
We'll see. The Old Guard trailer 2 dropped today. It did. Now I haven't watched the first Old Guard film, so I don't know. Yeah. So if that's something that interests you, they just dropped the trailer for that. It's going to be on Netflix. I used to forage for Stephen King books at yard sales with my dad. Yes. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit, man. Like, I don't like being the guy that, like, I just hate everything popular. Stephen King was the most popular author on the planet, and I ate up everything. The first full-length book I ever read was The Stand, and after that, I was like, oh, this is my guy.
I had a hard time getting through The Stand.
Well, I mean, that's because it's like,
yeah, I had a really
later he released an unabridged version of it, and it was like this. Finally, in a really weird piece of marketing that I don't get.
Neither do I.
So Thunderbolts, which, by the way, I wouldn't say it's been a runaway hit financially, but is doing well. But has done very well, especially in compared to Brave New World as far as reviews go. So I don't know where it's sitting currently on Rotten Tomatoes. It debuted at like 96 or 95. It did drop from there. I think it's in the mid to high 80s now, which is still very, very respectable for an MC movie these days in particular. But everybody was curious about this asterisk, all leading up through all of the what's the word I'm looking for here? The marketing for the film. And then weirdly enough, while it's still in the theaters and not even out that long, Marvel just drops what the asterisk is, which apparently is a big reveal, a big spoiler for whatever the after credit scene is for Thunderbolts that I don't know anything about. I haven't read anything about it yet, but I literally couldn't avoid reading what the asterisk means because Marvel just...
That's what they're calling it now.
They're just shotgunned it all out. So
that's what they're calling it now.
That maybe haven't seen it, I'm sorry. This isn't a spoiler because it's everywhere now. What does the asterisk mean?
It's the new Avengers.
Right. So
like I don't understand it. Yeah.
They're the new Avengers is what the team is in fact being called now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess makes sense if they're in Stark Tower. I mean, that was...
Yeah, but do you remember the new Avengers?
No. Again, let's be careful. They've yet to adapt anything one for one from the comics.
Well, that's fair. Okay,
right?
You know what? Fair enough.
They never do. So
you know what?
Yeah. Yes. My guess is here it is like
your choice, especially with Secret Wars coming. Actually, I think they're doing it because of Secret Wars, but anyway.
It's the finale of the movie saying Myers Corp. I'm good with it because half the internet had it spoiled by Thursday night. The problem is, we've talked about this on the channel before, the internet doesn't represent the movie-going audience as a whole. Right? The internet represents like the 5% or 10% noisiest people. The other 90% of the people are not on the internet 24/7 reading and commenting and looking all this shit up. But Marvel blasted this out everywhere to the point where I'm not even looking for anything to do with the Thunderbolts movie. And I saw it almost immediately that it's now the new Avengers. It's just weird them to spoil it so quickly right after the film comes out. Let it fucking marinate for a time, kids. Like... Andre saying it's a fun movie. Not sure why Marvel insists on spoiling shit after 1 weekend or 6 months before the damn movie came out. In the case of Red Hulk, yeah. Sometimes it can work, like Thor Ragnarok, revealing that the Hulk was the guy in the Gladiator or whatever. Like that worked as far as that. No matter that was a character we already knew, but I feel like you could have saved that back, and Ragnarok still would probably would have been a big hit. It would have been a fun surprise, but it still worked in the marketing. I agree with you. Red Hulk should have been saved off, but then I feel.
So what do you market that movie around?
I haven't seen Brave New World, so I don't know, but I feel like there wasn't a lot to get people excited for that movie in the first place. So I feel like that was kind of like their last ditch effort to kind of get people into it, and it just didn't work. But then they don't understand what the new name means. It could intrigue people to see it. I mean, I guess, Mike, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a weird ass move to have specifically that asterisk be asked about all the way through the marketing campaign, and all the people of the cast saying, well, we literally can't tell you, it's a secret. We'll be, the Marvel police will come for us in the night.
And 10 seconds after the movie comes out, new Avengers. It's new Avengers. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Weird. I don't understand it. Yes, I think JS is right. I think it's meant to lead into Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's already been confirmed that this whole cast, minus Taskmaster, because I haven't seen the film, but I mean, I think we all know the fate of Taskmaster, is going to be in Doomsday. That will lead into Secret Wars. So Weird move. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even necessarily saying good or bad. I'm just saying weird move to have that spoiled so quickly after the film's been released, especially since the film had already started to generate good word of mouth and people were going to see. I guess the point for me is now I feel like I don't have to go see it because I know.
Now you know the punchline. Yeah.
Like I hadn't gone to see it, and now I feel like I don't have to.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Maybe this is me. I don't know. Anyways, that's the news, guys. Thanks for participating, and I love, God, by the way, that you guys are now chipping in on the news. That's fantastic. That's kind of what we've been hoping would happen. So thank you to those of you that mentioned things specifically in the news, the follow stuff. That's great. So please help me out with that moving forward, because anything is going to be great. I'm not all seeing, all knowing. I can't see all the different news pieces. I had no. I am not. I am not. In fact, omnipotent. I would like to be, but I am not.
Well, I know you're not omnipotent, but I thought you were all seeing.
No, I am not seeing. Not the same thing, Megan.
No?
Yes.
Can you see what's coming now?
I see all. I know all. I am.
Yeah.
No. Thank you, guys, for contributing and moving forward. We will get you guys to do that. Anytime you guys are seeing a news item that you think is worthy to talk about in the Geek Boutique, we'll make sure that we get it in there.
Community news.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Hey, what are we going to talk about in community news?
Well, before we get to that, just a couple quick points. Obviously, guys, Anime North coming up quick, May 23rd to 25th. If you are going to Anime North, it is a big convention, and you're probably going to be outside a lot. Make sure you are freaking hydrated, because that is the one where there's a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of sun, and it's a big building. You're going to be walking through all day long. So make sure you're hydrated and you got some good shoes on. Niagara Falls Comic Con, May 30th to June 1st. I've had an influx of people this week asking me if we were going to be at Niagara Falls Comic Con. We unfortunately, as the Geeks and Co. We are not. Jeff, however, is going to be at Niagara Falls Comic Con with the Cosplay for a Cause booth.
Yes, so formerly known as Cosplay for a Cure. So they are now going Cosplay for a Cause. So they handle the cosplay contests and such, along with like themes and stuff. Do you remember when join me in the Wayback Machine, guys? Do you remember when the Geeks and Co. used to have a booth? Mm-hmm. And then Fan Expo would ask us to host meetups, like themed meetups for photos and stuff. Mm-hmm. So Cosplay for a Cause does a whole bunch of them every day based on different IPs and such, and they need a mouthpiece. And so I think I don't know if I'm going to bring the whole audio setup. I'm definitely bringing the megaphone, which, as someone pointed out, is like giving a 4-year-old a whistle. But that's what's going to happen, so I can help pump up and host these meetups throughout the entire weekend. So I'm going to be at that booth pretty much. Like I've got stuff every hour.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I'm going to be there pretty much all weekend long. But I mean, they've got water and snacks. They're hooking me up with an exhibitor pass. Like they're absolutely treating me well. Megan Murray, you are indeed a good mouthpiece. Well, I mean, we all got to go with our strengths.
Oh,
I just it's Smokey and the Bandit. For me, it's Smokey and the Bandit every single time. Burt Reynolds saying, yeah. What are you going to do now? He's like, I'm going to do what I do best. Show off. That's what I do. That's what I do. Here we are. So yes, I will be there all 3 days. If you you want to come by the Cosplay for a Cause booth to say hi, please do. I'm going to get a chance to interact with as many of my friends as I possibly can, and have some of these as well. But I will not have the same freedom of movement that I've had at that con every other year that I've gone. Not knowing where the Cosplay for a Cause booth is going to be set up. Last year they were right beside Lindy's booth,
main hall,
kind of in the main hall, and I'm hoping that's going to be where we're at again. If we're not
the main hall, in the entrance hallway.
That's what I mean. Yes, I would love to be beside Linda again. But yeah, we'll just see how that works. So
yeah. Well, listen, we won't be there, but Jeff will be. Make sure Jeff, you say hi to everybody.
Cosplay, I'll make sure I'm wearing I'm representing for sure.
There you go. And then finally, GameCon Canada, guys. GameCon Canada, it's coming up. It's June 13th to 15th in Edmonton. It's a big convention. We had them on the podcast last year. Let's see if we can have them on the podcast again this year. I know they reached out to chat, so I'm assuming they want to come back on the podcast. So let's have a talk with them and see what's going on. But they've been publishing a bunch of stuff. A lot of people are already advertising their cosplay lineups for this con. Evil Ted, our buddy Ted Smith, is going to be at the show. He's actually going to be judging the cosplay contests with Lauren does cosplay, and who's the other one? I forget who the other cosplayer is. Another fairly big name cosplayer is going to be there as well, judging the cosplay contest. So if you're in the Edmonton area, cutie, go check it out. It's going to be a.
She's in Calgary, is she?
It's gonna be a good show. Yeah, listen, I'll let you handle that one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen a layout yet, so I don't know. Question. When I know, I'll make sure everybody knows where the booth is.
Where the booth is. Sorry, I was wondering what you were talking about there. Yes.
That's all good.
Yes.
Hey, what are we going to talk about now?
Yeah, I mean,
the podcast.
Yeah, we have to take some time and talk about, our third annual May the 4th be with you Star Wars Day event on May the 3rd at London Brewing Co-op. Guys, we where do I even start with this? Can we talk about the history of this a little bit?
Of course.
So, part of the reason why we do this at this brewery is frankly because of Crazy Mike.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of Crazy Mike's local hangout, right? So he's been hanging out there and going there for many, many years. And he was like, dude, we should do an event here. That's the first thing he came to us with. We should do an event here. And we're like, dude, you're crazy, Mike. Like, what do you mean do an event there? Like, it's in London. It's in a brewery. What do you mean do an event? And then he eventually came up with the idea of doing, hey, why don't we do a Star Wars Day event here? And then we were like, that we can fucking do. So that's basically how it became. And 3 years later now, we've raised more money than we did in our combined first 2 years.
Correct.
I don't know if we want to talk about that right away.
We're going to talk about all of it. I think it's important to know that when we first pitched the idea to London Brewing Co-op, and again, I mentioned this before, it's important to note the dynamics here. So I'm in London where the brewery is, as is Crazy Mike. Now, Crazy Mike's not an official member of the team, but we've said before, we wouldn't have this event without him because this is his original idea and his original concept, but nobody else is in London. JS, Rob, and Jen are all the way the balls out in Curtis near Oshawa, and Megan is in Kitchener. So as far as like physically going into the brewery to talk to people, that kind of came down to Mike and I. And when we pitched it to the brewery, they were like, well, yeah, you can try it. Like we'll do anything once. Like it, yeah. But don't get me wrong. I'm not slagging them. They were on board, but they didn't know what it was or what it was going to look like. They had done a bunch of events before, but nothing like this focus, this nerdy. Like they would have like a mom market or a dog thing, or they would partner up with, home county and do something like that. But this very specific type of event, they didn't know what it was. They're not geeks. They're not nerds. They're geeks and nerds about beer. Like they brew beer. That's what they do. So, right. So that first year, it felt like it was great and it was fun, but they didn't know what it was. And frankly, neither did we. Right. So we didn't market it super well. The podcast was still in its not in its infancy per se, but it wasn't where it is now with the reach that we have now. So the second year, like last year, ended up being sort of the final proof of concept because we had built the momentum from the first year to the second year. And last year was gigantic, right? Like, I mean, we had such a huge turnout that the place was packed to the tits pretty much from the time it started to the time it ended. And at that time, we had their best sales day that they had ever had in nearly 10 years of being open in that particular brewery as far as overall sales go. And of course, as we mentioned before in the podcast, we sold out of all the beer that they had made for us specifically in 3 hours. We broke the food truck in about 4.5. We just cleaned the fucking place out of food and the beer that they had brewed, right?
That's the worst part. We cleaned them out of food and beer.
But we tried a couple of new things last year in particular. So one, someone made this dope ass label, which, by the way, we did not get a chance to do the first year with the honey lager. We got to pick the type of beer was going to be the first year, but that was it. They did the label. They put our logo on it, but they did the label. Last year, my man gets to make a label, and we get to pick the beer, light lemon lager, and we got to name it, which we didn't get to do the first year either. So we get to call it Twin Suns. We get to come up with the type of beer it is.
And I just want to mention, I kind of pushed myself into that, right? Like,
no, but
we
good.
had an email exchange with Emma, and Emma was like, "So, what are you guys thinking for a label this year?" I was like,
just like, I got this.
I was like, I got it.
Literally,
I'll take the label.
Literally hold my beer. I got it. Geek Locust says Jed Porkins. Yes. Yeah. So that was definitely the proof of concept. So going into this year's planning, London Brewing Co-op was very into getting the event going and was essentially willing to work with us on pretty much anything that we had suggested, because last year we did introduce vendors for the first time, which went well. And this year we brought the vendors back. And again, we offered vendor space to everybody that had been there the previous year. I want to take a second, not only to thank all the vendors that came out, because some of them are in the chat right now, both last year and this year, by the way, for everybody that came out and had a booth. But I want to make sure the vendors, and most of the vendors got this. I feel like a couple of vendors maybe didn't quite understand the concept. If you're looking to come out and make a couple grand in a night of sales, it's not what this event's about. You're at a brewery with a bunch of geeks and nerds on a Saturday night celebrating Star Wars. And so there's a reason why the table fees that we have are as low as they are. I keep them low. They're never going above where they're at right now. That's going to be their price forever as long as we're doing it, because essentially what I'm hoping is that you make your table fee back, and then you've got a couple of extra shekels to put in your pocket, maybe pay for your beer and your gas that particular weekend, because it's all going to the charity. If I was charging you and we were keeping that money or using that money to run the event, and then you only made that much, I would feel like I had, failed you guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But for anybody that's going to be interested in coming out as a vendor to any of our events moving forward, if we're doing them for charity, the table fees will always go to charity. So just keep that in mind. You're not going to come out and make beaucoup dollars at this amazing vendor event. It's not a vendor event. The vendors are an add-on. They're a value add. They're a bonus, right? And I think most of the vendors got that. There was just one or two that were like, "Oh, I was expecting more." I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's a charity event, man. Like, what were you like? This is how it is." So, but that's not to slight any of the vendors that came out last year and this year, because you guys not only were a value add for the event, but this year we got the vendors to help us out a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of the vendors actually donated this year, which, and when I mean donated for the raffle,
Right?
Which was amazing.
Which was an ask, by the way, not an expectation. Not all the vendors did, and it's no slight to any of the vendors that didn't. Some of us are working on some very fine-ass margins. I completely get it. Just a huge shout-out. And even a couple of the people that aren't even vendors decided to donate stuff. Our good friend Becca, Not Possible, donated some cool stuff. And then editor Megan, donated a huge prize, which was the top 4 items that had tickets in it easily.
Yeah.
To help out with that. So no, I thought the vendor space was great. And same thing as last year. Some of the vendors did amazing. Some of the vendors,
our buddy Groot, Collaborative Cosplay, that's in the chat, donated the Gamora sword out of the blue. Yep,
very cool.
I feel like there were other people that added Bob.
Yes.
Oh my God. Gift baskets, guys. So if you were at the event last year and this year, I'm sure you saw the big ginormous gift baskets that were put together. I don't even know how much stuff was in there. Like you couldn't even see everything that was in there. There was
crazy
so much stuff.
Crazy. What did Andre win? Keith, nothing.
Nothing.
I
warned Andre at the beginning of the night he wasn't allowed to buy tickets. No.
The streak is broken. Andre was yes, unfortunately he didn't win anything. So the result of that, and by the way, the local businesses came through as well. Not as many of them did. Thankfully, we had Junction Climbing, which is literally right across the road, for the 3rd year in a row. And I think at this point, them and London Comic Con are the only 2 that have donated all 3 years for the event.
Yeah.
And London Comic Con didn't just donate tickets. They donated a bunch of really cool prizes that really helped out with the event as well. And then where I work definitely donated the prize, which easily drew the most tickets.
There was so many tickets in that thing, dude. It was
the Blackstone Tailgater Grill drew just an absolute shit ton of tickets. So that to me, going through, and this is again no slight to any of the other prizes, but the top 4 amount of tickets per prize were the 2 big gift baskets, Megan's $150 gift card to her shop, and the grill. As a result, and just to give you guys, I don't remember how much the raffle drew the first year, which funny enough, I think the raffle did a little bit better the first year than it actually did the second year.
It did, for sure.
Enough. I think we got we got close to $500 for the raffle tickets year 1. I don't think we quite broke $400 for the raffle tickets for year 2. I think we were 3 and change.
Yeah.
Yes. How much did just the raffle raise at this year's event?
$1,115. So just the raffle raised $1,115.
The raffle. And just so we note, and I know we've said this a million times, but just to reiterate, because the raffle and the vendor area are the only two things that we have 100% control over, 100% of those proceeds go to Ronald McDonald House Charities. So all $1,150 is going to Ronald McDonald House Charities. And then this year we did raise the price of the table fees. Again, it's not going to go past this, but we sold 12 tables at $600 per table. So
no,
$600 per table. No. I'm so excited. I'm at the end.
All right, math 101, bud. Math 101.
$50 per table at 12 tables resulted in $600 collected.
Correct.
And by the way, all the vendors had all the stuff paid way in advance too. By the way, I had that money right there. Like the only one that I was waiting on was the last vendor spot to be confirmed. And even then, as soon as they hit me with the money, so everybody's fantastic for that. But yeah, so what's the grand total raise?
$1,715, 1715.
Which, like we said,
in vendor tables and raffles, and that doesn't even include the beer.
Which we're still waiting to hear back on total sales of the cans of beer. So 50 cents from every can. As we mentioned before, they did make a much bigger batch for us this year, about twice as much.
They did.
So that was due to result in between 30 and 35 cases, 24 packs of beer. When I left Saturday, because I was there till the bitter end, helping to clean up and tear down and everything else, there were 4 cases left in the cooler. So if that represents all the cases they made, if they made somewhere between 30 and 35 cases, that means once again we probably sold nearly twice as much beer this as we did last year because we had twice as much. So yeah, 50 cents.
We had more than twice as much. She said. She told me.
So it feels like we're probably in a position where the total give to Ronald McDonald House Charities is probably going to be somewhere in the $2,000 range. So
yeah, we're probably broke 2,000.
So cans did not quite sell. Like I said, when I left, there was 4 cases sitting in the cooler. So I'm going to be going there tomorrow, just to hopefully someone's going to be there that I can catch up with and talk to. But I'm going to scope out and see what's left because their regulars were buying this too. So I'm going to see what's going on. Hopefully those are done, and then as soon as London Brewing Co-op can get a count of all the cans they sold, then they'll transfer that money to us, and then we'll donate it directly to Ronald McDonald House Charities. So
Michael's saying, are those cans still there? Or those cases, still there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
I would assume not, but I do know there is still a bit of it on tap, which is why I'm going tomorrow. I'm hoping I can get. I'm not going to clean out the last of it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be shit-faced and silly for the weekend. I've got a fence to build, but I mean, it's. Wow. I do want to go and have some of that delicious beer on tap. So I'm saying I'm not going to get silly. I will admit I talked about this to JS and some other people. I think Norm, yeah, exactly. Norm, what are you up to, Norm? My ideal weight if I was 11 feet tall. I think, and this is again no slight to anybody else, but as I mentioned, I'm the only one in London, so I do feel like, especially for this year, for whatever reason, I do feel like a lot of the event. Now, mind you, I'm the one wrangling all the vendors. I'm the one getting all the raffle prizes and goods and then getting there early to help them set up and putting up the canopies and all that kind of jazz. So I really feel like it's a lot of it's not on my shoulders. That sounds terrible. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just the fact that I'm here and I'm doing a lot of the work. So I did spend most of the time running like a chicken with my head cut off. So I don't feel like at the end of the night, I wasn't even really drunk. We ended up going out shortly after. We checked out the new Hard Rock Hotel with our buddy Jake that runs London Comic Con. We had some really great conversations. We got some ideas kind of percolating and stuff that I have to talk to him about actually that I haven't had a chance to yet. But yeah, overall, like we're looking to hear from you guys too. Some feedback from you guys would be great, whether it's good or bad. Ideas for next year, because we did try something new this year that we didn't have the previous 2 years, and that was the cosplay karaoke.
Oh, what a blast!
Which I thought went very, very well.
What a blast!
Really good way to keep things interactive. right? The bingo I felt went really well again this year too. Getting it done early. There was lots of kids there to have fun with the bingo. Everybody, like the whole front area was all playing bingo, and they were like on the edge of their seats, man. Like you had some serious bingo players there.
Who won again?
Prizes. So so the same family won the first and the second prize. Like one of each kid got the first and the second bingo. So the dad made out like a bandit because the first prize was a Stein and a $50 gift card, and the second prize was another Stein and a $25 gift card. And if one of his kids won one and one of his kids won the other, and I was like,
those are yours.
Nice. Good job, guys. Good job. So Buddy gets 2 Steins and $75 in LBC cards. Excellent. So early on in the show, there was very much the bingo seemed to go really well. And then the karaoke, I don't know about you guys, but I really did feel like because of the level of interaction, and obviously you guys got into it, right? Like I was mostly seeing cosplayers go up there to sing, and everybody seemed to be having a good time with it. I know it's maybe a little bit dated or whatever with the karaoke thing, but again, it gave more interaction than just sitting around talking or having a band drown everybody out. Cosplay karaoke is loads of fun. Yeah.
You had JS drowning you out.
Both times JS goes up and sing, Michael Icon, his watch has a decibel level reader, and it will tell him when it's too loud where he's sitting. It went off twice that night. Both times when this asshole was up singing on stage.
I will admit there's the one time I was singing with a group of ladies. I was singing on the floor in front of them, and they called me up on stage. So I went there. But I'm just belching it out, right? Because they have the mic.
You were belching it out.
The one lady kept putting the mic in my face as I'm screaming like a maniac because I don't have a mic, right?
Yeah. No, it was good.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. I definitely vote for cosplay karaoke again next year.
I think so. I think we'd be silly not to have it back. The response to it seemed pretty good. And to be frank, same with the bingo. We don't want to get too stagnant. We do. So if you guys have ideas, if you guys have specific feedback that you want to give us about what you thought maybe worked well, maybe what didn't work, maybe what could work in the future. We've already talked about having maybe a bit more of a designated kids area and having someone manage a kids area like face painting and puzzles and other kinds of things that would go with the event. That because we've been clear about this before, the event is not a kids event. If it was a kids event, we wouldn't have it at a brewery. We'd have it at a park or, whatever. It's not a kids event. It's simply family friendly, which means if you're a parent and you're coming to the brewery to have fun, drink some beer and celebrate Star Wars, you can bring your kids. They're welcome. Same with dogs. You can bring your dogs too, but it's not a dog event, right? We're not having bandanas and fucking leashes and shit. Who was the Rocky Horror dude? That is our friend Ian. He goes by Swiss Family Cosplay on Instagram. He does a great Captain Jack. He does a Beetlejuice. He's local and he's a fantastic dude.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So Swiss Family Cosplay is who they are. Definitely give them a follow. Wonderful salt of the earth people. Comes out to as many events as he can. Mm-hmm. He actually came out when we were doing the promo shooting for this event at London Brewing Co-op weeks beforehand. He just came out just to hang out, have a beer, and watch us and talk to us.
Oh, really? I didn't know he was there.
Yes, yeah. Cosplay rocks his midlife. Absolutely, yeah, fantastic. So
I didn't realize he was there. Okay.
So if you guys have specific things that you would like to talk about in regards to the event, what worked, and in particular, let us know what didn't work. If there's things that you thought we could have done better, please reach out to us and let us know. And then if you have ideas, please let us know. Obviously, we can't implement everything, but if we do have an opportunity to implement something, or we hear a really good idea, we'll be like, hey, we'll give that a shot. Like one of our vendors, Tracy, coming to us and see, like, I'd like to do more stuff with kids. I'd like to do some face painting and stuff. That's a fantastic idea. That doesn't cost us anything. We just set up a little area. We have it, specific for that. I think that's fantastic. So,
no, I agree.
Yep. But otherwise, no, like, just a fantastic time. London Brewing Co-op is very happy, and this is where I kind of want to get into a little bit, and I'm not going to be long, guys, because I know we're already at an hour. So I want to give you guys a little bit of the inside baseball as to how the event works, because I still think there's some sort of misunderstanding, I guess, as to how the event works and who benefits from what and everything else. So people have asked us flat out, do you guys get paid to do this? And the answer is no, we do not get paid. However, we also don't spend any money. There's no cost to us as far as the venue goes. So the infrastructure in its entirety is provided by London Brewing Co-op.
Everything.
Lights, heat, sound, roof, beer, food, they make arrangements for.
They bring the food truck.
Tables, canopies, the karaoke guy had to be paid. Obviously, the beer has to be brewed. So, because people will ask me sometimes, they're like, well, that doesn't seem weird that they're getting the lion's share of the profits. They're having these amazing sales days, and you guys aren't seeing any of that. Well, of course we're seeing that. We're seeing it in the form of a charitable donation.
Correct.
We can't run it both ways. So we've chosen right from the jump to make this a charity event, and that's not going to change. It is going to continue to be a charity event. If we take this on the road and we do this to other places, is every single one of them going to be a charity event? No. Maybe we'll do something where we're just going to be an event organizer, and we're just going to have an event, and we'll get paid for it. We'll sell it as a package maybe to somewhere. I don't know. We can talk about that at some other time. But for this event in particular, our benefit to this is, one, brand recognition. Two, getting a chance to just have a giant party with all of our fucking cosplay friends in something that we're organizing. And three, making a sizable donation to a charity. Those are the big benefits for the Geeks and Co. And I think for an event like this, what it does for the community as a whole, I think is also, that can't be understated. I think it gives us an opportunity. Somebody else mentioned this. We were talking about this during the event. For us, anyways, in a lot of cases, we'll go to a con and then we'll end up at the bar. And then, by the way, that's our thing. That's not everybody's thing. And I know some people kind of frown upon that, but whatever. How you enjoy a con is completely up to you. But in this case, we go to the con, we spend maybe an hour or two at the con, and then we're immediately at the bar. And it feels like for some of the cons, we spend more time at the bar maybe than we spend at the con. So instead of going to the con and then heading to the bar, why not just take the con to the bar and have it in the bar? The key difference here, though, guys, is that if we were to kind of run our own con, which we've been getting, I don't know about you, but I have people rolling up to me during this event all the time. You guys should do your own event. The cost associated with us trying to do that, to provide all of the infrastructure that London Brewing Co-op provides for us, au gratis, it's simply not possible. We're not in a position to be able to do that, right? So in this case, this is the best possible scenario for us. They take all the risk. They have all the costs. We just get to come in and run the event, essentially. And I think moving forward, that's going to be what's best for us in the long run. Like I said, if we do this at other venues, may that change a little bit? Sure. We'll try to tweak things so that it's, we'll make sure that everybody's getting something out of it. But this event, if it ain't broke, man, this is how it's going to be, kids. They're going to continue to provide us all the space and all the infrastructure, the staff, the tables, the tablecloths, the canopies, the food trucks, everything else. And we're going to continue to bring people in and have a charitable donation that's respectable to be able to have a good time for everybody, to be there for that common cause. Does that make sense?
I also want to mention, guys, if you're interested in being involved in next year's event, either as a vendor or as a sponsor or whatnot, let us know sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
And when I mean sooner rather than later, I mean we're already actually working on the marketing for next year's event.
Well, someone is. You should see what I got up to.
No, yeah, don't spill those beans just yet.
Not spilling any beans. But we went for breakfast the next morning, 6 of us.
Yeah,
that's all we did was talk about what next year's event's going to look like, and we got real specific. So
we had really good ideas, and we're going to be making some pitches to London Brewing Co-op. Mm-hmm. We've got some proof of concepts already to show London Brewing Co-op. We would like to be able to start marketing this event as early as VonCon, so that when we go to London for London Comic Con, it's in full swing. And our marketing campaign for next year's event is in full swing.
Right.
Because the one thing that I will say about this year is that even though spending was up, attendance seemed a little bit lower.
Yes. Not
I don't know,
but a little bit lower.
No, and maybe we could talk about that for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Because I was real worried. I'm not going to lie. We didn't have the hype around this year's event that we had last year. And I was a little bit worried between the economy and everything going on. And I don't know, man. I felt like this could potentially be a big disaster and nobody's going to show up. clearly was not the case.
Yeah.
I mean, we still had a massive day. And like I said, spending was up. So even though there was a little bit less people, the people that were there were spending more money. So it goes without saying, one way or the other, the charity ended up benefiting, right?
100%.
But attendance was a little bit down, and I can only think if we can keep that spending up, but then bring the attendance back up, right?
Yeah, Andre's got a good point too. The economy stinks, and the weather was not where it was the previous year.
I mean, last year, man, it was like a summer day.
Perfect. No, last year was perfect.
You know,
perfect down to the last minute detail.
Yeah, I mean it's
but yes,
yeah. So anyway, we've already got some plans for next year that we're starting to work on. We're already starting to work on the visual identity of what that's going to mean. Not that we're rebranding the event, but we are slightly.
We're still talking about that. We're having some back and forth on the branding. So,
well, no, and you're right. Look, at the end of the day, you're right. And I like what Megan came up with. We just have to, because the design she came up with, although we can't technically use.
No, but it's a
great fucking T-shirt, man. Like I would wear that everywhere.
The tagline is,
we're using that.
I can't believe we didn't come up with that before.
Yeah, we're using that.
Guys, we're saying we're already planning 360 days out. We're not like, it's not just like, hey, maybe we should do this. It's like,
no, we're deep in already.
This is the beer. This is the logo. This is the tagline. This is what we're going to call it. Like we're very already heavily involved. And like JS said, because we want to start advertising it a lot sooner this year. So
yeah,
I guess it's going to be Saturday, May 2nd next year. Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Correct.
We're not going to move it from the Saturday. It's just too convenient on the Saturday. The fact that it lines up with Free Comic Book Day as well, I think helps. And let's be fair, like no one is going to be throwing a party like this on Monday, May the 4th, right? So we have to take advantage of the May the 4th marketing that's happening globally. We need people to understand that we're doing this on the Saturday because we're having it at a fucking brewery and we can't all get wrecked on a Monday night because most of us got to work on a Tuesday morning. So
yeah. So,
mad success. Thank you to everybody that came out. I think pretty much everybody in the channel that's talking to us, or nearly everybody came out. So new beer next year. I didn't say that. Did you say that? Nobody said that. No, we're not spilling any. I don't know what you're talking about. We're not spilling any.
What are you talking about?
No idea. Yes. So I also blame the weather. It wasn't the chilly side, says Urban Glassworks. Yes. I mean, depending on the costume that you were wearing, like when I was in my Stormtrooper armor, it was fine. I made it high, says Jennifer. Hello. Whoop, says Ice Voice. Yes, producer Jen. This might seem a little bit self-serving, but this doesn't happen to me. I was in my Stormtrooper and I had my Geeks and hat on because I didn't want to have the bucket on and keep taking on and off. And by the way, for any of you guys that saw my hair after I took the bucket off, and you know why I didn't have the bucket on and off the whole time.
Dude, that was. You letting it grow out for a reason?
It's been this long forever, dude. I just keep it. I keep it back, and I use a lot of products so that it doesn't do that. But that's the way it's looked for the last 7 years. So,
dude, it's for sure longer than it usually is, man.
It's not. I promise you, it's not. It's been way longer than this.
It's down to your fucking shoulders, bud. Like, come on.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways. So I had the armor on, I had the hat on, and then two ladies came up to me at one point, probably in our age group, maybe a little bit older, and they're just looking intently at me. And the one gal puts her hand on my arm, which is on the armor piece, looks me up and down, and she said, "I don't know what this is, but you're a very handsome man." And then just pimped away. He said it. I was like, "In this getup? That's what you think's going on?" I was like, all right, thanks, lady. You just made my whole day. So I appreciated that. So, lady, if you're out there, you and your friend, you made an old man's heart sing. Thank you very much for that. That was fantastic. Overall, though, guys, I mean, as much as my feet hurt at the end of it, as much as my back hurt, as much as it was one of the longest days of my life, I had a hell of a time. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. These guys made it what it was between our guys and the LBC staff and Crazy Mike, everybody that really buys into this event, gets into this event, all the vendors, Gil, everybody else that came out to support it and donated prizes and such, the local businesses. I mean, I love how just everybody just pulls together to make this event what it is, which I feel like, and this may seem a little self-serving too, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a whole bunch of posts during May the 4th on social media about cosplay lineup. And one of our friends, Brad, Sarnia Assassin Cosplay, got a picture of our entire cosplay lineup.
Yeah. Well,
and
there was a couple missing, but yeah.
I didn't see anything out there that was close to the type of turnout we had for cosplayers for our event in the entire region. And that comes down to you guys. So thank you for everybody that came out, contributed, whether it was vendors, patrons, singers, food people, like whatever it was. So you're not a little Saphira. Have you listen?
Just for the people listening on Spotify, so you're not a little stormtrooper, says Saphira Cosplay.
Whoa. Shots fired. Why I'm catching strays on my own podcast? What the fuck is going on? Thanks, Geeks and Go Crazy, Mike Lindbergh Co-op. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
it seems like everybody had a good time. So, but again, please, if there is something that you saw that you didn't particularly like or enjoy, or you think something that we could do better, please reach out to one of us and let us know. And we can't fix all the things. Who can? But because I know some people were not happy about the food truck getting there so late and then not being set up. But again, that's not on us. It wasn't even on London Brewing Co-op. They had arranged to have them at 4, but he doesn't show up till 5, and then it took him 45 minutes to get shit going. Now, once food started coming out of that food truck,
it was dope.
Killer. Holy shit!
That buffalo chicken poutine, man.
Ridiculous.
Holy fuck!
Ridiculous. So good. So yeah.
And I had their pizza grilled cheese, man. Oh, listen.
I had the buffalo chicken grilled cheese tossed. Yeah, it was like, dude, like grilled cheesery, nailed it. Someone mentioned maybe having 2 food trucks there to help with the demand.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, I don't think that's a terrible idea. So we'll talk to them about that.
Even if we can have like one that comes earlier, right, and then overlaps for maybe an hour with the one that comes later, and then you have one that's
we'll talk to them and figure it out. So I mean, I don't think there was certainly enough demand that we could have 2 food trucks there without it being a problem. So
yeah, I think so.
We'll talk to them next year about that. Saphira, the betrayal. I can't. Terrible, honestly. Woof. Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it for the event. And unless there's anything else that you specifically want to highlight and talk about. But yes, we're already starting to plan. So if you guys have got ideas for next year's event or things that you would like to see, please reach out and let us know. Comment below on this one as well, on this video, to help us out with stuff too. That would be great. Or talk about what you like best about this year's event. You want to go ahead and throw that in a comment below. That would be great too. Get the word out.
I just want to give a big, huge, freaking big thank you to, well, first of all, everybody that came. Even the normies that came by. I mean, I know they're not watching this, but they were into it. Yeah, that's what makes this event, right? Everybody being there, everybody showing up, everybody coming to have a good time. And I know I say it a lot, but the whole point of starting this whole Geeks and Company thing was to get cosplayers to do shit together, right? Was to bring the community together, and you guys show up for this, and that's why we do it, right? So huge thank you to everybody that's showing up. The vendors, guys, you guys are freaking fantastic. A lot of the vendors this year specifically told me, man, I didn't really make any real money, but again, it's for the charity, right? Like a lot of them understand that they get to come and hang out and show off their stuff and sell a little bit and
And yet again, I've already had half of them be like, yes, I'm coming back next year. I want to come back next year. I was like,
right. Cool. So you guys are fucking legends. And then a bunch of you guys donated, which is even better. Like you donated for the raffles. We had a shit ton of people from the community that just came out and donated just to donate. Gil with the Lolas and like we said earlier, Groot with the crazy sword, Becca with the crochet stuff. I know I'm forgetting some now. There was Bob with the gift baskets.
Just outside the vendors, but even the vendors, Ali donated, Bill donated, Jason donated, like so many. Andrew donated, so Stephanie donated, so. Yeah, you guys were absolutely good.
Tracy,
someone buy my sweary jewelry. Yes, Iska Voice. She made some sales as well. So, yes, Tracy donated. Yeah, so guys, killed it. I came to hang out and show art. Exactly. So, and we appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. So that was fantastic. And then a big thank you to the boys from London Comic Con.
Yes.
Clearly we also have a relationship with those guys. Like we know them on the personal level.
Yep.
So we're lucky enough that way. Like Jeff was saying, we got to go out for a beer after with Jake and sit down, and actually he drove us there because we were drunk as skunks by the time we got out of there. But and he showed up as we were shutting down, so he hadn't even had one drink. So we're like, let's go have a drink somewhere else. So big huge thank to London Comic Con. They donated a bunch of stuff this year other than just passes, signed posters, hats, you name it. It was pretty cool. Orgil.
And I told them too. So Orgil's where I work, and I told them how well it went. I sent some pictures of the raffle table and such, and I said, y'all are on the hook now. Like, I'm every year. And if I don't get like a prize of this nature, I'm gonna be like, let's go. Like, you guys made it so that the raffle went so well. You guys episode again. So
there was a lot of great prizes, but I have a hard time imagining we would have done this well for Ronald McDonald House Charities
without the grill.
If it wasn't for that Blackstone grill. Guys, we had a $600 Blackstone grill. The Tailgater 3, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Which is their dual, like it's got the regular barbecue and the flat stone.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Blackstone makes awesome grills, and this one was dope.
BRD Collectibles Bill was bragging about how great Saturday was on Sunday. So Bill was the first one to come to me and be like, I want back in next year. I want this exact spot. He was the one doing the mystery bags, and he did very well. Actually, he did a lot of those mystery bags.
Yeah, can I talk about Bill's mystery bags for a quick second?
Give me 1 second, because I think he's asked this before, Porkin. So, Gil, who won the grill? A gentleman named Hudson that was at the event. That was not when we did the draw, but we have since gotten in contact with. He also won one of the big toy baskets. So Hudson was the big winner of the date for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Bill's mystery bags. And I was chatting with Bill, and I kept saying, I'm going to come by back. I kept saying, what's the good one, right?
Right.
You tell me which one's the good one, right? He's like, they're all good.
They're going to say.
And I guess one of the things that he was worried about is would people find the value, right, in paying $15 and getting a bunch of stuff, right? And I opened it up, and I shit you not, for one, there was a C3PO coffee mug, and I'm like, I would have paid $15 just for the mug. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
And then on top of that, you guys remember when Hallmark came out with the mystery Star Wars ornaments?
No.
From what I understand, every bag had a Hallmark.
Oh, very cool.
Star Wars ornament.
It's Michael Icon. Look at that.
Right?
Nice.
And then every mystery bag had a little ship. Mine's over there. It's a bomber from what was the first sequel movie called again? Force Awakens. The bombers.
Sure, yeah.
The ship is the bomb. It's the Hot Wheels. The Hot Wheels Star Wars ships.
Sure.
So they're all like metal,
right?
So there's one of those in there.
Nice.
And then there's a bunch of stuff like tattoos and stickers and puzzle and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, like $15? Like, again, I would have paid $15 just for the mug, and I got a cool ass Stormtrooper ornament out of it too, and a ship. And a little model ship. Like, yeah, I mean, totally worth the $15, Bill. That's awesome.
Toxic Foxy, everything I made went right back into drinks and raffle tickets. Yeah.
Hey, I mean,
that's kind of the point. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
you go in knowing that that's sort of what's going to happen. Like, you're going to pay your booth space. You maybe put a couple bucks in your pocket, and use that to get your drinks for the evening. To me, that's a good evening. Especially Toxic Fox lives like a 5-minute walk from the like she walked her stuff over and set up. So I mean, it's for her, it's uber super convenient. So hopefully we get her back next year as well, because her stuff was fantastic and it was great to have her there as a vendor. So yeah, good times, man.
Yeah,
good fucking times.
Yeah. So Orgil, thank you very, very much, guys. And then Junction Climbing, I hope whoever won the Junction Climbing tickets go use them, because again, that's like $200 worth of tickets or something.
Yeah, significant dollar value on that product.
So
Yep, I agree.
So, again, Bonkers Day. Big thank you to everybody that was involved.
Huge.
The last people that we need to thank are London Brewery Co-op.
Oh yeah.
we give them a hard time sometimes. We were giving them a hard time about the whole black can thing. Somebody was asking again in the chat about the black can thing.
Yeah.
We give them a hard time, but at the end of the day, guys, as much as we wouldn't be having this event without Crazy Mike, we 100% for sure wouldn't be having this event without London Brewing Co-op. We're literally using their space, right? They literally brew our beer for us. Very, very generous that they would even consider giving.
What's $150? What's Jennifer talking about? What's this?
I'm not sure what $150 is.
All right, cool. Sorry,
Jen, what's $150?
Yeah, what? I don't know what we're talking about. I'm always a sucker for a mystery bag. Yeah, same thing. Like every time I've seen Bill, I've gotten one. Oh, for Junction, yes, the cash, the value, the cash value.
Oh, it was $150. Well, there you go. Oh, close enough. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, London Brewing Co-op. If you're in the London area, and you come to this event, go check out what they do. They do a bunch of events all year round. They make all sorts of cool beer. They've got a new non-alcoholic hop water that a lot of people were drinking throughout the night. And at one point I was like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's their non-alcoholic hop water. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Apparently it's fantastic. I didn't try it because, I was drinking beer. But, they do amazing. They make amazing.
They also had some vodka coolers, by the way. I don't know if you guys know Grace and Great.
They do.
Our friend Robbie, he was wasted again for the second time. Last year he came and got loaded. He came loaded this time drinking the vodka coolers. So it's not like it's beer or nothing. They do have some other drinks for sure.
Yeah. And that's the problem we had last year, right? We sold out of the beer so early. Everybody got drunk on those damn vodka coolers and we got fucking wasted. Right? I think this year, because people mostly stuck with the beer, we got drunk, but nobody was like silly wasted, right?
Yeah.
But
nope. Fair
we
enough.
are there to party and drink, right? So what do you expect?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else
for the event? I don't think so. Do you want to do a cosplay corner, or do you want to skip that this week?
I like who you chose. It's in the same vein as kind of as what we did last week.
Yeah, but I like this group. So do you want
to? But you like them?
Yes.
These guys you like?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Andre over there.
Do it.
I wish I could crack another beer, but I can't. I got to work in the morning.
I just got beer everywhere.
Of course you did. Savage. It's the Cosplay Corner, guys. As you know, every week we try to feature a different cosplayer or cosplay group that has a positive impact on the community. Much to my chagrin, they chose a terrible group last week. It doesn't even consider them, by the way, doesn't consider themselves cosplayers. They consider themselves costumers because fuck those guys. This week, we're talking about a group of folks that are a lot more welcoming, that aren't so stringent, that aren't so elitist, that aren't so, oh, you can't sit with us because you're whatever. This week, I want to focus on the Doctor Who Society because the mission for the Doctor Who Society on the one side of things is the same as the group that we featured last week. I don't remember what that group is called. Doesn't matter. That they talk about charitable donations. So much like we did with this event, and I think it leads in well to what we're talking about, the Doctor Who Society goes con to con to con, setting up these amazing props, an amazing featured people coming in different cosplays for Doctor Who. And I know Doctor Who on this side of the pond maybe doesn't necessarily have the same kind of reach that it has on the other side of the pond, but it's not like it doesn't have any reach whatsoever. If you've seen the Daleks at a con, at any of your favorite cons that are in the entire region, so they're set up similarly where if you want to go into the TARDIS or you want to interact with somebody, you just put in whatever you feel is an appropriate donation, and then they forward that on to a charity of their choosing at the time. A more welcoming group, I don't know. You can tell nobody's in here. People are in here for the love of the game. That's if you're involved in the Doctor Who Society, you're not there because you're trying to be some elitist dick or you're trying to lord your stuff over. You're there because you love sci-fi, you love Doctor Who, you love the genre, and you love going to cons and bringing this to new people and different people throughout. If you go to a major con in the Southwestern Ontario region, you're going to run into these folks. I guarantee you. And in all my times going to cons over the last 12 years, I have yet to have a single bad interaction with anybody from the Doctor Who Society. And I think it's important what they do for the community, not just because of how welcoming they are, not how fun they are with the Daleks and the different cosplayers and stuff, and in it for the love of the game, but the fact that they're doing it all for charity as well, I think is, I don't know, man, just amazing.
Yeah, they raise a lot of money as well. I think that's key. Their charity work. I mean, I think they raised like something like $13,000 at Fan Expo last year or something to that effect.
It's a crazy amount of money they end up raising for the charity, and the fact that they get a sizable space in that space, and the fact that they, like I said, they're just geeks. They're just like like they're just having such a great time, just like us. Like you could just they're just there to have the fun and bring the fun to the event and have that level of interaction with people. And they have an energy about their booth and their love of the fandom that I feel like a lot of others maybe don't have. They bring that energy. The Daleks are hilarious. Yes, the Daleks are fantastic. If you get a chance to interact with the Daleks, we've had them at the booth before. We've gotten to talk to the people that make them, the people that are in them.
Well, we've had a couple of them on the podcast.
Yeah, so it's there. If you're wondering, if you're at an event and you're wondering where to spend your dollars, you can do a lot worse than donating to the Doctor Who Society and thereby donating to whatever charity they're supporting at that point. There they are at Montreal Comic Con. Yeah, all the big cons, you're going to see the Doctor Who Society, and well, you should. Oh my God, no, it's huge in the UK. Oh yeah, Paul, absolutely. Like I said, this side of the pond, not as prominent. Over in the UK, remember, this show has been on for over 60 years now. Like, it's been on a long, long time. There's a reason why it's been on as long as it has, right? So it has a very, very faithful following. I got to voice one once for a brief moment. I actually got to ride in a Dalek with the voice modulator for like an hour at a con, Cottage Country Con many, many years ago. And I had the best fucking time at a con I've ever had. I think driving around.
We need to talk to Jim, and me and you need to somehow
get into
Daleks and
go around in Daleks. I agree, Jim. If you're watching, all go to Children's Hospital of that area. I remember, yes, Paul. I know that you're
hilarious,
a big contributor to the Doctor Who Society. I know you're one of the members. That's part of the reason why I want to talk to the people about this. I know they're doing escape rooms now. Yep, I didn't know they had one at MFCC. That's cool. I know they've been doing it at Fan Expo now.
They have one at Fan Expo.
The escape room. One of their members, Phil, put together a deck of playing cards that had each playing card had a different cosplayer featured on it. And same thing, he just did it for the love of the game, like just as a personal project. And then if you were in the deck, he just gave you a deck of the cards and you got to see which one you were in. And yeah, it's a really, really great group. And yeah,
an expo last year.
I just love how into the fandom they are and how much they enjoy coming up to these things, interacting with people, and just having a good time for charity. It's great. So support them if you see them out at a show, and if you're, like I said, if you're at any major show in the region, you're going to see them. I guarantee you. Go check them out. It's a worthy cause from a great group of folks. Even if you're not a fan of the property, go check it out anyway, because it's still and again, they're still supporting a wonderful charity. So.
And believe me, when the Daleks are rolling around through the
Daleks are Daleking, yes,
yeah, they interact with them, and you'll have a blast. They're freaking hilarious.
It's a good time.
Tlon specifically. What's his name again? I always forget his name. We had him on the podcast. I can't believe I forgot his name.
You're terrible. I don't know who you're talking.
Anyway, he's freaking genius. He's so funny. I've got a bunch of video of him Daleking, and yeah.
Fantastic.
So Steve is the doctor. Steve is this. Oh, well, you can't see it now, but can I put it back on? Oh, I've stopped the sharing. Steve usually plays the Matt Smith doctor, unless there's another Steve that has a Dalek as well. But I didn't think Clown was. I don't think his name is Steve, but
maybe there's Steve is a fairly common name.
Hey, it is. It is.
And we've got one of them in the channel at the very least.
Well, we do. Maybe more than one.
There might be more than one. Goddamn Steve's.
Damn, this beer's so good.
It is very good. I wish I could have more, but like I said, I got to work in the morning. So, guys, thanks for coming out to the event with the Twin Sons. We will be back next year. We've already heard from London Brewing Co-op. They are eager for next year's event as well. So, rest assured, you will see us back next year. Mark it on your calendars. May the 2nd, 2026 will be May the 4th on May the 2nd. So, gear up. Hopefully the economy will be in a little bit better shape. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better, and hopefully any little kinks that we had in that, especially with the food and stuff, that we'll get that sorted out. So, thank you once again for everybody that came out and spent your hard-earned and allowed us to make a charitable donation that dwarfs the 2 years combined. So fantastic. We couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys make that event. As much as we administer it, you guys show up, and you show up in droves. So we would not have it without you. And it's kind of I don't know. It kind of gets me almost emotional. It's great that we get to do something else that's this community based, that gets everybody together just to come out and break bread and enjoy a drink with their friends, because we don't always get a chance to do that at the cons. And I think it's important to keep that social aspect, that social bonding piece for the community, to shore up the community and make the community better and better every time we do something like this. Not just us, obviously, anybody that does something like this. So I'm just glad you guys have decided that this is a worthy event for you guys to come out and support year after year. And as long as you guys keep coming, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, I think that it speaks volume that people would show up. But B, I think it is important as a community that we do these things. Right. And hopefully we see more events like this pop up throughout, a calendar year. I think that events like this is what brings us all together. And I feel like maybe not the number one reason for everybody, but for a lot of people, a big reason for why they cosplay and they're part of this community is for the people.
Agreed.
Right. We're all like-minded nerds that all like the same fandoms, and that all like to dress up, and that
we're all just folk,
and that so any reason to bring us together outside of just the cons that we admittedly some go to more cons than others, because some go to like 14 a year, some go to 4 a year, some go to 1.
There's no right or wrong way. So
but this is the way to get together without those cons, right?
Yes,
these types of events. So,
hopefully
we get to see events in other areas. They don't all have to be in London. Now, I know the London group. Let's be honest here. The London nerdery is like no other.
Right. No, I agree with you. We're very, very fortunate. Our nerd to non-nerd ratio here is very, very good. So. Yes. That's not to say that we can't do events in other areas. We've already been talking about events in other areas, but now that we've kind of established this event, we know that you guys will. If we build it, you will come. Stay tuned. Maybe we can get some other ones going. So
maybe not this year. We're gonna start planning.
No. We're gonna start talking about it though.
But hopefully next year we can perhaps maybe somehow.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man.
Guys. If you're still with us, holy cow, thank you so much. Actually, there's still a bunch of people with us. I'm surprised. We've been on for an hour and a half, and there's still a bunch of people in the chat. So, guys, make sure you leave a like and comment. I want to see those likes. Please, if you're here and you're with us, it costs you nothing. Click the like button. It takes 1 second. Not even. It takes a millisecond to click the like button. There's our buddy Justin. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, he was in there.
He was also at the show.
He's more a lurker than anything else. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. He was also at London Brewing Co-op on the weekend.
He also
donated. That's right. Justin also donated a free
photo set. That's right.
And funny enough, I don't think a cosplayer won the photo shoot.
No, I don't think a cosplayer won the photo shoot either.
Yeah, I think it's a normie that won the photo shoot. So that's kind of cool. That's really neat.
Awesome.
Yeah, Gil's saying I'll be there next year. I mean, listen, we will as well. We're planning some big things. Hopefully, it's even that much bigger and better next year. But for everybody that's still watching, thanks you so much. You make sure you all stay geeky, and we'll see you next week. Again, we haven't announced who the guest is next week, have we? Should we spill the beans before we go?
Yeah, sure.
Nah, maybe not.
All right,
See you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss an